Elon Musk will take over Twitter's CEO role, but not for long. We've heard this before, haven't we? I guess in the past he stated that, and then he stayed as CEO for a really long time elsewhere. Elon Musk will reportedly take over the role of CEO at Twitter after the acquisition is complete, but the plan is to not hold it for long. When Elon Musk became CEO of Tesla in 2009, it was only supposed to be for a few months until they found a replacement. 13 years later, he is still the CEO. That's like me with this company. Well,
Yeah.
back in 2009, I was like, only for a few months to a year. Then it's going to be the real host. 13 years later, here I am. It's not. I don't think it's quite 13, but Elon Musk is expected to serve as temporary CEO of Twitter for a few months after he completes his $44 billion takeover of the social media company, sources told CNBC. Musk hasn't officially commented on Twitter leadership situation yet, but there have been reports that he has already lined up a new CEO. This is the first report that claims Musk plans to personally take over, at least for a few months. I mean, he kind of has to. He has so many ideas. Go look at his Twitter. This has to be fixed. That has to be fixed, so on and so forth.
He doesn't like the current CEO, Agrawal? I guess not, right?
I mean, he was dunking on the whole board.
Yeah, he's saying everything.
I don't see how they were gonna sort that out.
No.
It would be, man, I don't know how much, I don't know who's hanging around. I mean, you saw some people's tune change, some of those investors. You saw the tune change where they were like, oh yeah, we'll get
on board.
At first it was like, yeah, intrinsic value. And then after it was like, happy to see what we do together as opportunities arose. But listen, he's so opinionated on the topic and seemingly so passionate about it that how do you have the most impact the fastest? You go in there and you're the CEO. All of a sudden, otherwise you're just yelling at someone. Well, you're yelling at someone regardless, but otherwise you're just directing to somebody else. And without that title, why should they listen to you? So at least in the interim and probably for a while, I don't know what this means on the Tesla side of things, SpaceX side of things, if there's any concern there. I know Mo as a shareholder is constantly aware of Elon Musk and his time spent. He's constantly tracking his jet location and so forth.
Did someone say Tesla?
Yeah, in order to... You can't even have a conversation with this guy anymore.
That's not true.
We tried
keeps
the other
Tesla.
day. We were having a little barbecue. We tried.
Right.
And
What were we talking about?
Well, you brought it up.
Well, I
No,
know,
what
but
were we
the way
talking
this
about?
guy perked, he perked,
I like it.
but you perked.
I did.
And I said something to the tune of, I don't like this. That's the thing. Every time I can sniff a Tesla investor from a mile away because
You
if
smell them.
all I have to do is say something negative about Tesla,
Right.
and they go,
They punch you in the gut.
no, not even. No, they get inquisitive.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a quiet or private
That's a bit
Tesla
of a
shareholder.
That's a bit of a worry.
They just go,
That inquisitive nature.
well, they
Like,
go,
what's going on?
because they just assume it, like, it's impossible. Like, what do you mean you don't like absolutely everything?
But there's a sense of concern there, right?
From who?
From the other guy,
Yeah,
investor?
because if
the
somebody,
investor.
Well,
yeah.
obviously. Yeah, obviously. That's what it's all rooted in. That's the whole point.
It's not full confidence there.
That's the whole point of it, is that they notice, and Mo, as an investor, he noticed me and he got all of a sudden way more engaged in the conversation than he was prior. Prior, he just
Yeah.
listened to music. He looking at the bird over there.
right. I know the good things about Tesla. I want to know the bad things.
And then,
Well, yeah, he wants to be informed.
I say something negative and he goes, tell me more about, describe to me why that's worse.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty good to me. And all of a sudden his whole demeanor changed and you're like, oh, you're a Tesla investor.
Yeah.
Got it. But it's not just him. Like, that's not how I came up with this, because it's everybody I talk to who's an investor in Tesla. It's the exact same scenario. It's kind of like Apple to a certain extent.
I would argue investor in anything. When you have stake in the situation, you don't want to hear
Yeah,
somebody raining on your parade.
Maybe it is, but I think it's when you are invested in something that's perceived as being such a halo.
You're right. A Tesla investor is different from just a regular investor.
I think a regular investor is, I don't even know what a regular investor is at this point, but like a little bit less. Tesla's like a vanity thing to it. It's like an identity marker.
Right, right.
It's like a lot of things are like that, but particularly good looking or seemingly better, more advanced, environmental, like all these, this
Check mark.
Yeah, this subset of things that's like an elevating factors.
Yeah, there is a bit of like, oh, you don't get it. Like I'm part of a group.
Because if I said to you, you know, oil prices are going to go down, right? And you had, I don't know, Exxon Mobil, you'd be like, I better move that.
Right.
It's not like, it's not this weird
fear-inducing
philosophical, maybe it is. But with Tesla, particularly you who say, oh, it's like a 5-year thing, it's like more of a vision or something.
Yeah.
Intangible feeling. And that's why Elon's so important as this mega influencer, because he controls feeling for so many people and direction. So I'm telling you, it's the same sequence every time. I would actually say Apple is a little different in the sense that I've run into people that sort of use Apple apologetically. This is completely anecdotal.
They're like,
but that's a kind of a new thing where they don't just say I'm using it because it's the best. They're like, I know, I'm on Apple.
oh.
Particularly, it depends the age group and demographic, and then obviously the limitation in my exposure to, who knows, certain types of people or certain scenarios. But because they've been using it for so long at this point, that maybe they're feeling that they should be more aware of other options in the marketplace. But definitely you can sniff out a Tesla investor by saying something even marginally critical. Their level of inquiry is going to elevate so rapidly. Tell me more about what happened? What didn't you like? What was the... Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me, that feature. Sounds promising. It's all very future. It's in the future.
Yeah.
Anyway. None against, I mean, Tesla, listen, and you and I talked about this before, and I think we talked about it at that moment when you got really inquisitive. Without Tesla,
there's no EVs.
what's
like
even
this.
going on right now?
No.
So that's not to take anything away. It's all about this nuance, man. It's not polar. But he wants it to be the simplest story possible. It's like, listen, if you want it to be bad enough, guess what? It will be.
Right.
People will just give it to you because they're sick of the argument. But if you really want to play ball, you get in the nuance of the game. Get in there and dribble around a little bit.
Right.
Play around a little bit with these concepts and ideas and get in the gradient. Get in the gradient.
In the gray zone.
Get in there. Or just come to this show because we'll force you to get there.
All right.